Good morning. Today we are going to read the second part of the story, The Happy Prince. In the previous session, we read that there was a statue of Happy Prince which was erected high above the city. And we also read that when Happy Prince was alive, he never felt or never experienced any kind of sorrow in his life. So that's why he was called Happy Prince. But after his death, when his courtiers set up a big statue of his high above in the city, now he could see all the miseries, all the sufferings of the people which are faced by the people of his kingdom. Now he started feeling disturbed and he used to cry. Once, when a swallow came over there to have the rest for some time, then what happened that we read in the previous part also, and we will continue to read. Now, as we know that for the first task which was given by Happy Prince to the swallow was to help the seamstress who was quite poor and her son was ill. So, Swallow helped the Happy Prince by delivering the ruby to that lady. And now, next day, when he is waiting for the night so that he can go to Egypt, now what happened at that time? He visited all the monuments and sat a long time on the top of the church steeple, that means tower. When the moon rose, he flew back to the Happy Prince, actually to say goodbye, because in the night he was going to travel to Egypt. Now he said, "Have you any commissions for Egypt?" Means, do you have any messages to give? Do you have any work to be done in Egypt? Because I am going now. He cried, "I'm just starting," means I'm starting my journey. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "will you stay with me one night longer?" Now, again, Prince requested him to stay for one more night, but Swallow said, "I am waited for in Egypt," answered the swallow. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "far away across the city I see a young man in a garret." Garret means a semi-finished house which is not properly constructed or which is not properly finished. He's leaning over means bending over a desk covered with papers, and in the glass by his side there is a bunch of withered violets. Now he is trying to write something. His hair is brown and crisp, and his lips are red as a pomegranate, a kind of fruit, and he has large and dreamy eyes. He's trying to finish a play for the director of the theater, but he is too cold to write any more. There is no fire in the grate. Grate is a place which is grilled, and fire is burnt over there to keep the room and the people who are living there to keep them warm. And hunger has made him faint. It's quite cold, and Happy Prince is describing the condition of the young playwright as he could see while standing over there as a statue. He says that there is a person that who is trying to write a play for the theater, but as it is quite cold and he has no money to have fire to keep himself warm in his house, so this is the reason why he is not able to write, and he is hungry also, is quite poor, and he is about to faint. Now Swallow says, "I'll wait with you one night longer," said the swallow, who really had a good heart. Swallow was of good heart. He asked if he should take another ruby to the young playwright. Now he offered the help that, do you want me to take another ruby to help this young playwright? Alas, I have no ruby now, said the prince. My eyes are all that I have left. They are made of rare sapphires which were brought out of India 1,000 years ago. Now, Happy Prince says that I'm not having any ruby now, because I had just one ruby and that is given to seamstress. But I have eyes which are made up of sapphires, and those are really rare sapphires because they were brought out from India 1,000 years ago. And you can get them, you can get one of them and give it to the playwright. He ordered the swallow to pluck out one of them and take it to the playwright. He'll sell it to the jeweler and buy firewood and finish his play. Now, what kind of help it will be to the playwright? He would be able to sell this precious stone, and then he would be able to get firewood, keep himself warm, and finish his play. Dear prince, said the swallow, I cannot do that. And he began to weep. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, do as I command you. So the swallow plucked out the prince's eye and flew away to the young man's garret. Now, swallow followed the orders given by the happy prince. So he plucked out one of the prince's eye and get it to the young man. It was easy enough to get in, as there was a hole in the roof. Through this he darted. He flew down in the room of that playwright and came into the room. The young man had his head buried in his hands, so he did not hear the flutter of bird's wing. Young man was holding his head, and he had buried his head in his hands, so he was not able to listen to the flutter of the wings of swallow. And suddenly, after some time, when he looked up, he found the beautiful sapphire lying on the withered violets. Now he saw that the beautiful sapphire was lying on those shrunken, on those violets which were no more fresh. I'm beginning to be appreciated, he cried. Now playwright became so excited to see the sapphire, because he thought that maybe his fan, maybe his admirer, some of his admirers have sent this sapphire for him. This is from some great admirer. Now I can finish my play. He becomes very happy to see the sapphire, and he gets motivated, and he then says to himself that yes, I can start, I can finish my play, and I can write it. And he looked quite happy. The next day the swallow flew down to the harbour. Now this work was done in the night, and next day swallow went to the harbour, means port, where all the ships rest. He sat on the mast of a large vessel. He sat on the pole of a large ship and watched the sailor working. Now he watched that the people were working at the harbour. I'm going to Egypt, cried the swallow. He shouted loudly, I am going to Egypt. But nobody minded. Nobody listened to him. Nobody cared for it. And when the moon rose, so again it was night, he flew back to the happy prince. And what did he say? He said, I have come to bid you goodbye. He cried, swallow, swallow, little swallow. Now prince again spoke. Said the prince, will you not stay with me one night longer? It is winter, answered the swallow. Now swallow said that it's winter and the snow will soon be here. Soon there will be snowfall. In Egypt, the sun is warm on the green palm trees. Now I can imagine the scene of Egypt. Weather over there is quite pleasant. Sun is warm, and the crocodiles lie in the mud and look lazily about them. Now even crocodiles over there are enjoying in mud. They are enjoying the weather. In the square below, said the prince, there stands a match girl. She has let her matches fall in the gutter and they are all spoiled. Then Happy Prince said that, Swallow, I can see from here that there is a match girl who sells matchboxes. She, by chance or by mistake, her matchboxes are fallen in the gutter. They are all spoiled, and her father will beat her if she does not bring home some money. And she is crying. She is scared of going home because she is afraid that her father would beat her. She has no shoes or stockings, and her little head is bare. Means she is so poor. She doesn't have shoes. There are no stockings. Means long socks are not there with her, and her head is also bare. Means it's not covered. She doesn't have any cap. Pluck out my other eye and give it to her, and her father will not beat her. So pluck out my other eye and give that sapphire to that girl so that she is saved from her father and she is not beaten by him. I'll stay with you one night longer, said the swallow, but I cannot pluck out your eye. You would be quite blind then. Now the swallow expressed his concern that, see, if I'll pluck out your other eye, you will become blind. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, do as I command you. So he plucked out the prince's other eye and darted down with it. Now again, swallow had to follow the order given by prince, so he plucked out prince's second eye. He swooped past the match girl and slipped the jewel into the palm of her hand. Now he flew down and he went near the match girl. He swooped past means he flew in a quick manner, and he put the sapphire in the palm of the girl's hand. Now the girl is not aware that how precious that piece of stone or glass is. What does she say? She says, "What a lovely bit of glass!" cried the little girl, and she ran home laughing. Then the swallow came back to the prince. "You are blind now," he said, "so I'll stay with you always." "No, little swallow," said the poor prince. "You must go away to Egypt." Now, Prince is saying that, why do you want to stay with me? You just go to Egypt. It's okay, I'm blind, that doesn't matter. But what does the swallow say? "No, I'll stay with you always," said the swallow, and he slept at the prince's feet. All the next day he sat on the prince's shoulder and told him stories of what he had seen in strange lands. "Dear little swallow," said the prince, "you tell me of marvelous things, but more marvelous than anything is the suffering of men and women." Now, next day, Swallow sat on the shoulder of Prince and told him about all the lands which he had visited, and he kept on telling him the stories. But Prince said that, okay, whatever you are telling me, that's very nice. Like, you are telling me about amazing things. But the more marvelous thing than anything is suffering of people. So it's a great mystery. It's because people seem to be happy, but in secret they all are facing one or other misery, one or other sorrow. So fly over my city, little swallow, and tell me what you see there. So you just go and keep a check on my city. Just look around what is happening and let me know about that. So the swallow flew over the great city and saw the rich making merry in their beautiful houses, while the beggars were sitting at the gates. He flew into dark lanes and saw the white faces of starving children looking out listlessly at the black streets. Under the archway of a bridge, two little boys were lying in each other's arms to try and keep themselves warm. Now, when Swallow flew over the city and tried to, look what is happening around, he saw that rich people are making, they are having fun in their houses, in their big and beautiful houses. But what is happening with the poor people? Beggars are sitting at the gates. And then he went to the dark streets where there was no light. He saw that the faces of children were white because of hunger, because they were starving, didn't have food, and they were looking in the black streets only because they didn't have any hope. Under the archway of a bridge, he saw that there were two little boys who were trying to be stick to each other so that they can save each other from the cold, and they were trying to keep themselves warm. How hungry we are, they said. Both the boys who were sitting under the bridge, they were talking to each other. You must not lie here, shouted the watchman, and they wandered out into the rain. Now the boys had to leave the place because a watchman came there and shouted at them that you can't stay here. Then he flew back. Now the swallow flew back to Happy Prince and told the prince that what he had seen. I'm covered with fine gold, said the prince. You must take it off leaf by leaf and give it to the poor. The living always think that gold can make them happy. Now, Prince says that I am covered with gold all over. So you can take leaf after leaf and give it to the poor people so that it can be useful for them, because the people who are living, they believe that the gold can make them happy. Leaf after leaf of the fine gold the swallow picked off, till the happy prince looked quite dull and grey. Now, from the statue, all the gold leaves, all the things which were glittery, which were precious, were taken out. Leaf after leaf of fine gold he brought to the poor, and the children's face grew rosier. Now, what happened that leaf after leaf, because it was taken out, was making Prince look dull and grey. But leaf after leaf, when it was reaching to the poor, it was making faces of the children grow rosier. Red they were becoming. And they laughed and played in the street. And what they say? We have bread now, they cried. Now they were having enough to eat. Then the snow came, and after the snow came the frost. The street looked as if they were made of silver. Now there was snowfall, and after it converted into frost, and street looked white as they were covered with snow. Everybody went about in furs. Was wearing clothes of fur to keep themselves warm. And the little boys wore scarlet caps and skated on ice. The bright colored caps were worn by the boys, and they all skated on the ice. The poor little swallow grew colder and colder, but he wouldn't leave the prince. He loved him too well. He picked up crumbs outside the baker's door when the baker was not looking, and tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. Now the place was growing colder and colder, and little swallow used to pick up crumbs, means pieces of bread and pieces of those eatable things outside from the baker's door when baker was not looking at him, and he tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings so that he could keep his body warm. But at last he knew that he was going to die. He had just enough strength to fly up to Prince's shoulder once more. Goodbye, dear prince, he murmured. Now the end time was near. He was about to die, and didn't have strength to fly here and there. He could just reach at the shoulder of Prince and said goodbye to him. Will you let me kiss your hand? I am glad that you are going to Egypt at last, little swallow. Now, he said that, would you allow me to kiss your hand? Then Prince said that I am happy that finally you are going to Egypt. You have stayed too long here, but you must kiss me on lips, for I love you. You have taken a long time to live here, and I love you so much, and I want to say goodbye to you. It is not Egypt that I am going, said the swallow. Swallow said, I am not going to Egypt. I am going to the house of death. Death is the brother of sleep, is he not? Now he says that I am not going to Egypt, I am going to house of death. And death is also a kind of sleep. It's brother of sleep. Is he not? And he kissed the happy prince on the lips and fell down dead at his feet. Now he was dead. At that moment, a curious crack sounded inside the statue. Now, what happened? Strange thing happened. That something cracked in the body, or you can say in the statue actually. Something cracked, as if something had broken. And what was it? The fact is that the leaden heart had snapped right in two. Now the heart, which was made up of lead, now broke in two parts. Heart was broken. It certainly was a dreadfully hard frost. Early the next morning, the mayor was walking in the square below in company with the town councillors. As they passed the column, he looked up the statue. Now, when next day morning, when mayor was taking a walk, he was accompanied by town councillors. He said, "Dear me, how shabby the happy prince looks! How bad he looks!" He said, "How shabby indeed! Actually, it's really bad. It's not looking beautiful at all," cried the town councillors, who always agreed with the mayor, and they went up to look at it. Now, councillor always agreed with mayor. They never said anything against them. So they said that yes, you are right. This statue is looking so shabby. The ruby has fallen out of the sword. His eyes are gone. He is golden no longer, said the mayor. In fact, he is little better than a beggar. He's just like a beggar. He's just a bit better than a beggar. Little better than a beggar, said the town councillor. Now, town councillors repeated what mayor said. And here is actually a dead bird at his feet. And see, there is a dead bird at his feet, continued the mayor. We must really issue a proclamation that birds are not to be allowed to die here. That we have to announce, we have to give orders that birds are not allowed to die here. And the town clerk made a note of the suggestion, and town clerk started making a notes. He was taking notes. So they pulled down the statue of the happy prince, as he is no longer beautiful, he is no longer useful, said the art professor at the university. Then they melted the statue in a furnace. Now that statue was pulled down and it was melted in the furnace. It was melted in the fireplace. What a strange thing, said the overseer. Somebody who was looking at the burning of the statue, he said, of the workman at the foundry, this broken lead heart will not melt in the furnace. This broken heart is not melting in this furnace, in this fire. We must throw it away. We have to throw it away. So they threw it on a dust heap where the dead swallow was lying. They threw it at the place where the dead body of swallow was lying. Bring me the two most precious things in the city, said God to one of his angels. The same time, what happened? The God ordered his angels to bring two beautiful things, precious things from the earth. And what did angel bring? Angel brought him the leaden heart and the dead bird. He brought that broken heart, leaden heart, and the dead bird. You have rightly chosen, said God, for in my garden of paradise this little bird shall sing forever more, and in my city of gold the happy prince shall praise me. Now I'll keep these things with me. This happy prince will always remain here in my city of gold, and will always be in contact with me, close to me, and this little bird will keep singing in my garden of paradise. So we saw that happy prince and bird lived in the heaven of the god.